One comes via Twitter from Fifth Thor Kid. Is Philadelphia looking at a quarterback in the first round now? There was a report to that effect that the Eagles would at least consider a quarterback with the 6th overall pick to go along with Jalen Hurts. I would prefer a veteran since Hurts is so young in the NFL, only his second season. There's the list of the top quarterback prospects heading into the draft. Trevor Lawrence is the clear-cut number 1. Most people think Zach Wilson will go second. Who knows where Justin Fields lands, Shireen? But, we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, veteran versus rookie. I still would rather have a veteran paired with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, unless you're in love with, say, Justin Fields or a Trey Lance or a Mac Jones, if you fall in love with one of them, then I would say go ahead and do it. You figure out who the starting quarterback is, which one of those guys is the franchise guy. But if you're not completely and totally sold on one of those guys and not in love with them, I agree with you. You go get Nick Foles or whoever it may be to come in and kind of groom Jalen Hurts if you truly believe that Jalen Hurts is your guy. And I don't know that you saw enough of him last year, Mike, to figure that out. I do know that Philadelphia needs to upgrade its roster, especially on offense. I just didn't think they had enough weapons for Carson Wentz. The offensive line, we talked about those 14 combinations that led to 50 sacks last year. So they need to upgrade some things on offense. So if you think Jalen Hurts is your guy, you can get a really good offensive player there to help out Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I agree with you. And again, the Eagles view backup quarterback as a top 15 position on the entire roster. So they will make it a priority to find someone else. Posimus Prime, with Carson Wentz gone, are the Eagles going to be shedding veteran contracts in an attempt at a full rebuild? Is 91 Fletcher Cox back? Look, I think that they'll look at every position, and every team is going to be more inclined than ever before to squeeze a guy to take less or cut him off the roster and go out bargain shopping for veterans. There are plenty of areas where they can upgrade. I mean, Alshon Jeffrey has just kind of been hanging around the roster for the past few years. I'm sure Deshaun Jackson is going to be gone or likely to be gone. I don't want to guarantee it's going to happen because you never do know what a team's going to do. But there are plenty of guys that you look at and say, what are they really doing for this team? And what could they be doing with that cap space instead? So it's not, I used this term yesterday with the Steelers. It's not rebuild, it's not reload, it's more like regroup. And it definitely feels like that's what the Eagles are doing.
Yeah, no question about it, Mike. And you look at their salary cap situation, they've got to still, even with the Carson Wentz trade, they've got to shed some salary cap there to get under the number and to have enough room to bring in some free agents and help that offense get better. They were good enough, I think, on defense. That defense played pretty well. They've got to help that offense get better, score more points. This is an offensive game now. You've got to score in the upper 20s, low 30s to contend each and every week. And so they've got to get better on offense. But here's the other thing, Mike. They play in the NFC East. Let's not forget that. So they've got a chance to contend at least for the division title.
Next one comes from, if I can read this correctly, Wisconsin Blue Crew. What's the cap hit for the Colts on this deal? Can they restructure the contract? 25 for this year, 22 million next year, 25, then 26. They can restructure anytime they want if Carson Wentz is willing to do it. They don't need to do it at 25-4. They've got a ton of cap space. So they take Phillip Rivers and his 25 out. They put Carson Wentz and his 25 in. Dollar for dollar. I said this back when it first looked like the Eagles were going to be trading Carson Wentz. If you tell last March a Colts fan that a year from now you're going to have Carson Wentz and you're going to pay him as much as you're paying Phillip Rivers, they'd have jumped up and down for joy. So I don't think they need to do anything with the contract. Just keep going forward, Shireen.
It's a good deal. I mean, as quarterback goes, and if he plays really well, Mike, it's a great deal for the Colts.
Yes, absolutely. Last one from Brigai Fieri. Do you think that Carson Wentz will like whatever Indy specialty dish is more than a cheesesteak? And we were talking about this during the break.
No.
The specialty is steakhouses everywhere, and at St. Elmo's, horseradish sauce for the shrimp cocktail that clears out your entire sinus cavity and burns out your brain in the process.